Welcome into the Insane Games studio for the wettest and critically acclaimed podcast. It is Wednesday, February 6th, 2019. We got a lot of stuff to go over tonight. Post Super Bowl comments and reactions, and we got some Royal Rumble talk that we didn't finish up last week. We got What's Dead to Dan. We got the so-called straw incident that occurred this week. So we got a lot of stuff to go over, so don't go anywhere. Boater, run it up.
Hi everyone, Boater here. We'll get to the guys in just a minute, but I'm sure that they have a lot of opinions on how Super Bowl 53 went. So I figured that I would try to predict how that conversation would go. I think we can all agree that that was the most disappointing Super Bowl ever. It was pretty dry. You're just saying that because you said that the Rams would win. Oh, come on. There were so many punts back and forth, I thought I was watching a tennis match.
There were a lot of records set that game. Lowest scoring game in Super Bowl history, lowest scoring total by the winning team in Super Bowl history.
Did they have the record for the most boring Super Bowl?
The things I'm saying are agreeing with you, but as always, you think I'm arguing with you, so we're gonna yell at each other a lot.
The things you're saying are agreeing with me, but I think you're arguing with me for no reason at all, so I'm gonna raise my voice. But Dan, the records.
You know what? Maybe I'll just insult you. Bald.
Whoa. And now I start yelling. Whoa. Multiply that by the next 45 minutes, and I think it did pretty good. But let's find out. Guys, over to you.
Oh, man. This is the Behind the Counter podcast. We got Dave.
You're actually pretty close, I'm not going to lie. I was going to say lowest scoring Super Bowl in history.
There was a lot of points covered. I don't even know if we can talk about it now. I figured that...
that was great, Boater. That was
a very
fantastic.
thing is to have the stats and then just be yelling at them anyway.
That is great. So like I was saying, this is the Behind the Counter podcast.
Where were you sitting, Boater? Were you the one with We're Friends, or were you the one...
I wasn't in there. Dave was the one with We're Friends and with the records. Dave was the one drawing the signs. Come on.
It was
Who was the one that when I said you're bald, they go, oh.
That was Mike going, whoa. I thought so.
Okay.
Oh, that's actually very good. That's actually very good. I'm glad I didn't know about that, 'cause that made it even more. That made me laugh even more, not knowing about it ahead of time. Because some of the Tom videos I know ahead of time, so that was a great boat. That was good. So like I was saying, Behind the Counter podcast, welcome in. We got Dave, Mike, and myself from the Insane Games studio here in the Wilton Mall. We got Tyler broadcasting down in Tampa, Florida. We're also broadcasting live on Twitch at Insane Video Games and also Facebook Live at Insane Games NY. So make sure you follow in on us there, or you can watch our full episodes in repeat on YouTube. Those go live tomorrow at Behind the Counter. We got a lot to start over. We got a lot to discuss, with the Super Bowl and reactions and who got predictions right and commercials and what our thoughts are in and out of that. So why don't we turn it over to Tyler for Tyler's 2 minutes. I got it right, and I know I got it right.
Wow, proud of you. Super Bowl 53, Patriots 13, Rams 3. Julian Edelman was the MVP with 10 receptions, 141 yards. As Boater said, it was the lowest scoring Super Bowl. Brady 6th, most all-time individually. And one of the fun stats of the game was Johnny Hecker punting the Super Bowl longest in history at 65 yards.
And that was a highlight?
It pretty much was.
That was one of the highlights. The previous record was set by Allen, who plays for the Patriots. I think he had 64 yards in the Super Bowl against either the Falcons or the Eagles. And then Hecker broke that record. I mean, he was down to. They punted, I believe, like 8 times total. So
I don't know. Well, first off, let's go before we get into our thoughts. Let's go over who got what right. You want to do that now? You have all that written down?
Oh, the prop bets.
Yeah. First off, let's go over who won in the scores. Was anyone even close?
Nobody was. Honestly, I don't remember the scores. I just know who everybody picked.
I know
the
mine.
only person that was wrong was Mike.
Which I remembered.
He picked the Rams.
That was something I had Dan call Mike out, huh?
Even Dave picked the Patriots, so we were all right on that. I'm not going to go through individual prop bet scores, but the person who won was Dan. He had 5 out of the 9 prop bets.
Not bad.
But I think the one that set him ahead the
Gatorade.
most was who he had actually scoring. He was the only one that had Sony Michel scoring the sole touchdown of the Super Bowl, while the rest of us picked someone else. And you also had, what was the other one? Brady and Goff throwing under the total touchdown amount. So
Don't mind if I do. I didn't get the Gatorade one wrong or right, and that's what I was upset about. I wanted the Gatorade one right, and it was wrong.
Mike was the only one that got it right.
Oh man, that's what color we used to have. That good old QUI.
Ugh. But
But I mean, I said this on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I think you could have easily plugged in any single quarterback in the NFL and would have still had the same result that the Patriots had in that Super Bowl. Someone tell me I'm wrong.
On the Patriots?
Yes.
I would maybe give you that. I would. I guess I can make an argument that's accurate.
Yeah, he didn't have a great game. No touchdowns, 1 interception. He had some good
Well,
throws.
the reason I say this is because I feel like this Super Bowl alone was truly Bill Belichick setting himself apart from Brady, as he's the reason why the Patriots are so consistent. He's the reason why they win and are so dominant. It's not Brady. Brady, you know, if he had this game in the regular season, the Patriots would have lost by probably 15.
So what you're saying is you're making the argument in the argument of who is the creator of the Patriots' success, Belichick or Brady. What you're saying is that now kind of tilts it more towards Belichick than Brady.
Oh, for sure.
Because
I mean,
Brady
you
wasn't
have
really a
guy-
factor in that
You
game.
have a guy that only he had 250 yards, which is good. 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. First play of the game was an interception, or the first throw he had. And I just feel like the reason why the Patriots won was because Bill Belichick outcoached Sean McVay, and that's why I think it's proven that Bill Belichick is the reason why the Patriots have so much success over, you know, Brady getting that load.
Well, they had that one year with Matt Castle as well.
And they didn't even make the playoffs, though.
You know, 11-5 though, pretty good.
11-5 and didn't make the playoffs.
Nothing to scoff at, like traditional.
Everyone wants to be heard, Dan, not just you.
Am I coming in too loud?
Just you.
Wow, Dan. Pretty selfish move.
I just got yelled at.
How does it feel?
But yeah, I thought, I don't know. I thought when it comes down to who won the game and who lost the game, I think the Rams lost the game more than the Patriots won it. I don't. The Rams just. I mean, does anyone know what's going on with Todd Gurley? Is there any explanation as to what?
Extremely frustrated to watch.
I mean, Todd Gurley, did he just not carry the football
C.J.
anymore?
Anderson is a fat mess, and he had no right getting any carries in the Super Bowl. If I was Todd Gurley, I would have been wicked absurd about it to the coach behind the scenes. I'd have been like, I am getting 20 carries this game, or I'm
Right.
going to cry the blues
So-
wicked hard.
Throw out a question. Would we agree that there's something going on behind the scenes here? Rather it's an injury or a team
I mean,
issue?
C.J. Anderson was hot for a couple of games. That might be why, but I don't think that should have taken away from Todd Gurley.
I think Todd Gurley's just injured. There's no reason why you wouldn't play him in the Super Bowl. And C.J. Anderson was running worse than Todd Gurley as Todd Gurley was injured. So I don't think it's really C.J. Anderson, you know, bumping him out of his spot. I just think Todd Gurley, he goes out there for warm-ups and then comes in and he's like, yeah, I can't run this game, you know, a lot, like I expected.
I mean, then there's Goff. Was he even there? Was he even there on the field? Because I mean,
Yeah, they shot him right down.
I mean, at the end of the game, I think I texted Tyler and I said the kicker should be the MVP, and it'd be absurd. Who did he pick as the MVP? You almost could say Stephen Gronkowski should be the MVP. 2 scores, 7 points.
Didn't he also miss a field goal?
He missed the first one, but he got
Yeah.
7 points.
If he hit that last one, probably.
And technically, you could say he won the game because he got the last points. So I mean,
Technically, Julian Edelman did deserve it.
I guess. But at this point, I think you're just giving him the MVP, not to give a kicker an MVP. And that's what I think it comes down
Not
to.
necessarily, because if you look at his stats, I mean, 140 yards, say you subtract or divide that by 3, I mean, that's like 60 yards.
Okay.
Or what is it? I'm not good at math, so...
But here's my question to you back. Compare that to the other wide receivers that got MVP and tell me if it's even close.
Yeah, but those games are also dominated by quarterbacks throwing touchdowns.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is when a game like what happened just occurred, a low-scoring game, defensive game, and you have a kicker...
Yeah, that hasn't happened in the past few Super Bowls, so it's hard to compare.
I get that.
The last time something this low had happened was in 1962 when Lombardi was coaching the Packers.
So my question is, can a kicker ever become the MVP of the Super Bowl? That's my question. If there's ever a game that there's an argument for it, it's this past game.
Hasn't Vinatieri got it before or no?
No.
I mean, am I wrong with saying that he scored 3 different points, 3, 3, and 7, and his last set of points scored won the Patriots the game.
But he only scored really 7 points.
Okay, more than anyone else.
And if we went off your rules, he would have got fired after that first kick he missed.
That's why Tony Michel should be MVP because he scored 6 points.
He wouldn't
the only
even
one
have
that scored a
been in the
touchdown.
game because he probably should have been fired.
You could argue he should be the MVP over Edelman.
No, Edelman played his heart out.
That was
and,
a wet game.
You know, he was the only person doing anything on either team, so he's definitely having 10 receptions is hard in the NFL, especially against the best defense in the league.
Definite steroid arms, I will say that.
He was suspended at the beginning of the season for PEDs. So.
Did anyone else find the relationship between Brady and Edelman a little weird?
They're just
It's a
bros.
romance.
Oh, I guess so. Their little brother, and they're hugging and jumping up and down together.
You see him go to
I don't think I've
Disneyland.
ever
Weirdest
seen
thing
them
on the
together
Super Bowl
before.
was when Tom Brady straight up made out with Robert Kraft after he won. 2 men lips to lips.
Yeah. He kisses a lot of dudes on the
And the
mouth,
way
but
Belichick
I
is
know,
kissing his daughter.
It's
It's
not. It's just a purely brotherly love kind of thing. He kisses his kids on the mouth.
With an 80-year-old dude.
I could throw in a joke, but it's inappropriate.
Leave the man alone.
Who?
Tom Brady.
I'm not talking about that man. The man who's no longer with us. Throw that into the mix of the Patriots team, and there's a whole back room thing. You don't know what's going on there.
You don't talk about that. I'll get up and leave with you.
All right, so overall prediction of the Super Bowl. Dave, have you even said a word? What's your prediction of the Super Bowl?
Prediction had already happened.
Or your reaction to it? What's your reaction to it?
Once again, it was the Patriots who I didn't want to see against the Rams, who I don't give a crap about. So, I mean, I really didn't make any plans to even watch the game. And then when I got on my PlayStation, it said you can watch the game for free, and I was like, well, I guess I will. Tuned in. Wasn't disappointed because it was a solid football game. Wasn't a very good Super Bowl game. We're going to have people, that's the only football game they see for an entire calendar year. But that's more indicative of the NFL needing to do something about that. But
I think you get a different. I mean, as a football guy who I thought the game was very boring, and not so much it was low scoring. I just thought the 2 teams were boring. I'm tired of watching the Patriots, and I don't think there's any excitement on the Rams whatsoever. And at the end of the day, it was
That's
just
wicked absurd to say.
it was 2 very boring teams to watch. And I mean, I thought it was a great game, low scoring. I mean, it depends on who you ask. I mean, you're gonna have someone who knows football very well is gonna say, "Oh, it was a very great game." And people who just want to see touchdowns, "Oh, it was a boring game." I mean, no, he lost connection. He said. Well, he texted me before you even went on. So hopefully we'll get Tyler back on here in a minute. But I mean, I thought overall the game was pretty boring.
Patriots fans were the only fans that thought that they were the underdogs going into this, and somehow then when they won the Super Bowl, we're the only ones that were disappointed that everyone wasn't surprised that the quote underdog won the game.
But
How
I
many
mean,
how many Super Bowls have the Patriots won in the last decade?
Up until that past one, 5.
Yeah.
now 6.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Winning 5 out of the last 10 years doesn't make you an underdog.
Yep. But again, the Patriots fans were like, well, we're the underdog. We're gonna get screwed here.
That's just because nobody likes them.
You know what? I will go on a limb and I will say, Patriots fans act the way they do, and you'll notice that they are the most polarizing football fans of anybody. You can say the Bills fans are nuts. You can say the Raiders fans are psychopaths. You can say all these other things, but truly, the Patriots organization does not give a flying fart about their fandom. So the fandom of the Patriots have that, Daddy doesn't love me, but he hates you even more, that syndrome. And that's why they act like such jerks to everybody about it.
You gotta remember, New England fans are pretty much, they're Boston fans. I think a lot of people forget that New England is a lot of Boston.
Ton of people who love the Red Sox and who love the Celtics and who love the Bruins do not love the Patriots.
Interesting.
It's just weird at the end of the day when you look at that how the Patriots are just they've gotten that many. It's just you can't I can't watch that many. You gotta remember, even though they have 6 titles, how many times they've been to the Super Bowl and lost?
3.
I mean, so 9 times out of the last what? How many years?
I don't have that number.
I don't have it either.
12.
I want to say maybe 18 though.
It's like
How many years of time? I think they've been
2002.
together for 18
Yeah.
years. So, I mean, out of 18 years, they've been in the playoffs 9 times. But the bigger question is how many in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
I think it's like 6 or 7 of the last 10 years that they've been in there. And it's just a lot of the Patriots. And I don't think
I like
the
watching
Rams
them.
bring the right
The
right
Rams are-
attitude for a defensive or a opposing team. I mean, if it was any other team, I think it'd be somewhat entertaining. But I find the Rams very boring.
One of the most electric teams in football, man.
They may be great. I just find that they have no personality to them. There's
How
none. No, who brings personality out of the Rams?
Gurley, Aaron
Todd
Donald,
Gurley didn't even play.
Ndamukong Suh. Maybe not the right personality, but
Yeah, you definitely don't want Sue setting the tone.
But no, I mean, I thought the game was somewhat relatively boring.
I'm going to say a bold prediction. After that Super Bowl performance, Jared Goff going to the Jets. You heard it here first.
You think they get rid of him?
I think that they're going to, that all the other teams now that have been literally looking at McVay going, oh my God, he's the perfect coach, and we should really find the next wonder kid coach, are literally going to pump the brakes and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. What's the guy from the Packers doing?
yeah. He needs a job. That's pretty absurd that he didn't get one.
I have a feeling, though, that everybody gave young Jared Goff a wedgie on the way out of the stadium, though, that night, though. They were like, throw him picks!
Yeah. It wasn't just his fault, though. He's saying nothing was working.
But in the
basically for
NFL, who do we always blame? Coaches, quarterbacks, fans, defenses,
him. Refs.
refs. We missed a call from him.
What?
We missed a call from him.
Not just now.
I think that was familiar. What I thought was great at the end was Roger Goodell.
Not gonna work.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch Roger Goodell. I didn't watch the trophy ceremony.
I said I forgot to pay my internet bill.
So Dave threw out a claim that he thinks Goff is going to go to the Jets. So we're talking about that for a minute. See, that's what you missed. And we kind of just discussed a little bit how I think all of our opinion was it was relatively boring. It's a boring all-around performance game. What I was about to get into is I love the fact, and I know it happens almost every year, but I love the fact when Roger Goodell gets on that little podium with the microphone, the crowd just boos the shit out of him. And I just find it so hilarious. And he's sitting there looking at Robert Kraft, and Robert Kraft's mind going, you sucker, you're getting booed. And the whole situation is funny. And then immediately when he announces the Patriots as a winner, the crowd just starts cheering. It's just hilarious. Did you guys see that with Roger Goodell? I thought it was
how they
absolutely
boo
funny.
him every time.
What?
How they boo him every time.
Just when he gets the microphone, just the whole
That's been
stadium
a long-standing thing.
booing the shit out
At
of
the
him.
draft,
It's
any chance
hilarious.
they get to boo him.
Yeah.
That's always.
Did you guys have any favorite commercials?
The Game of Thrones one with the Bud Light and the
I saw
mountain
that.
blowing up his head. Didn't it make a can crushing noise when he did it too? It was a
My
little
favorite one
absurd.
was Harrison Ford with the dog. For the
That was
Amazon
pretty
commercial.
funny. That was pretty funny.
I was dying.
Mine is the NFL 100 commercial. Ninja's in it. It has nothing to do with Ninja.
All he did was
He was
serve
in there
drinks.
for 5. He was in there for 2
Why
seconds.
was Ninja in the
I don't
100
know
years
why.
of the Super Bowl?
I think just for extra
Just so
publicity.
they could all say that they were getting their drink served by Ninja.
And you know what? I bet he got everyone's drink orders wrong. I bet.
You can't sit and tell me that you didn't find that commercial funny. I thought it was hilarious. Running through the tables and throwing the ball and Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning.
I thought it was good. I mean, it was cool seeing all those guys in the commercial. I just feel like the funniest one was the one that was the Amazon one.
I'm not talking to you at the end. But going back to the NFL commercial, the more I see Peyton Manning in commercials, I think he really found what he's truly going to be known for, and that's his commercials, because it certainly wasn't his football career. Whoa!
Whoa!
I think he's much more. I have a whole new light now on my opinion of Peyton Manning after watching his commercials. I think he is fantastic in commercials. Probably one of the best people I've ever seen, best person I've ever seen in a commercial. He is fantastic. The one little NFL commercial with Ninja, then the real one, with the real one, the whole thing was great.
Ugh.
And then all his commercials about the insurance, it's just
He
great.
does have some good commercials.
He's great. You can't say he's not. He's hilarious.
He was a cheater, though. Allegedly took PEDs.
Whoa. It's a deep allegation.
Whoa!
I'm just saying, allegedly.
Do you have
there's-
information to back that claim up?
It's a wild accusation. A wild accusation.
Wait a minute. It was from Alibaba.com though. Wasn't that the irreputable site
I
that
think
literally
I
to
think
get
we need to
clickbait?
I think we need to get Jeremy on the phone here for this one.
I'm pretty sure it was
His-
his wife.
His boy idol.
There was a debate. The Washington Post posted on it. Debate over Peyton Manning HGH still bubbles year after
It was
he
his
retires.
wife's
I mean,
medicine, not his.
He definitely did not the year he retired, because that man couldn't throw the football 25 yards. So if he was doing PEDs, he was doing them wrong.
I don't think that's how you use that.
Was he
either.
shooting them? Was he shooting them into the pizza he was eating? Is that what it was?
Into the football. This'll help.
I don't know.
Was he shooting them into C.J. Anderson? Is that why he got so fat after he left the Broncos? Is that what happened?
I hate C.J. Anderson.
I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
it's
start a
Tom.
Peyton Manning scandal here. I'm just simply saying that I think him in
It's not a
commercials.
scandal. It's been in the news for a while. Everybody,
Has it been proven though?
the Al Jazeera report or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm not defending Peyton Manning. I as a football player and as a fantasy guy, he was a thorn in my side for many years in fantasy
He almost
football.
has a bigger forehead than you.
A lot of language has gone towards making fun of Peyton Manning over the years.
How dare you, sir, disrespect the five-head father like that? His forehead shall truly lead us to a new species.
Well, ratings. We'll
How much
keep.
does real estate cost on that?
Are you asking Dan or Peyton?
Tyler, if you pay for tickets for me to get to punch Ninja, I will pay for you to get within distance of Peyton Manning to ask him that.
Dude, he's gonna put a
I'll ask him
restraining
about
order on you.
PhD
I-
too.
Don't care.
Ninja probably beat you up.
We got like to issue a restraining order on David Mann.
Dye your hair pink afterwards as well.
To
You know,
continue
well-
continue being Debbie Downers about the Super Bowl, it did bring in the lowest ratings in the last 10 years.
Well,
Spin Zone, was that because of who was singing the national anthem now?
What do you mean, Gladys Knight?
I'm just messing.
She was probably the best thing of the show. Whoa, Whoa, we completely forgot about the halftime show. Let's go over that debacle for a minute. Hey, Maroon 5, how about you put your shirt on? None of us want to look at your tattoos.
It's Adam Levine, not
Who
the
cares?
Maroon 5.
Okay, and
Also,
let me no.
It says Adam Levine at the tattoo shop. What do you want? Just give me the whole flash sheet.
And I'm going to say this right now because then I'll let the four of them all team up on me because I know it will happen. One of the dumbest things I've ever seen is the SpongeBob at the halftime show. One of the... It wasn't even like... SpongeBob wasn't even in it. He was in it for like a second. The other guy had... Well, what's the guy...
That's not the point.
They should have done a little bit more.
Stupid. It shouldn't have
It's like
been
one
even
of those
in.
subliminal
No,
messages.
because a group of people got 50 signatures. I mean, it's dumb. Why is it even in there? It has nothing to do with the NFL. Nothing to do with the NFL.
You can tell that you watched Young and Restless over SpongeBob back when you were younger.
Nope, I hate cartoons. I've always hated cartoons. I can't stand them.
Was one of the best SpongeBob episodes there was.
I can't believe you glossed over the funniest part of that entire presentation. You didn't hit on it. How many thousands of dollars did that one guy give up because he dropped N-bombs during the halftime show? You don't get paid to be on it. And every time they had to bleep him, which by the way was 3 times, and the answer to that question was $150,000.
Are we talking about Maroon 5?
No, Travis Scott.
Oh, Travis Scott.
$150,000
Yeah,
he pissed away to sing 45 seconds of Sicko Mode. Don't remember the song. Don't care.
That was a good guess. It was
Now, real quick, and Tyler can get upset, but I was under the impression that Travis Scott was a country singer. I didn't. By no means I ever think he was a rapper. I had no idea.
All right. You know what? To piggyback on that,
Hold on. If I know nothing about the person, if I hear the name Travis Scott, I'm thinking, ding, 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 flannel in my truck, leaving me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
nothing
I
about
had
the
no idea who this guy is. And no, hang on. For the entire...
You listen to the radio?
Apparently not.
No, I listen to CDs and my phone.
CDs? What are you, 10 years ago?
Radio would be 20 years ago.
Better audio format. Better audio format than your
At least
MP3
put
garbage.
your phone in and listen to something like CDs? Do we listen? I mean, the last CD I listened to was WWF Volume 4, like 10 years ago. Like, who the hell listens to CDs?
He still has it in his car. He puts it on.
I was with you for a little bit there, then the CD comment.
Dan puts on the Brock Lesnar theme as he pulls in. Here he's going dun, 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 dun.
CDs.
But Dan, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I heard his name, what's the drummer from Blink-182?
Travis Barker.
Okay, I thought that's who they were referring to.
What, Dan?
I thought the guy was a country singer coming in, and all day long, for like the whole weekend, I kept being like, Travis Scott to me, Travis Scott. I'm like, oh, I might be like, we're doing a country thing. Had no idea he was a rap guy. No idea. None whatsoever.
Can I say it's absurd that Adam Levine got to show his nipples and Mariah Carey wasn't allowed to?
You mean Janet Jackson?
You mean Janet Jackson, Mike?
Little divide.
Mike, I know.
You know what I mean, though.
Mike, I know you were kind of young for that particular Super Bowl, but please,
But
there
back
was
to
at
the
least.
question at hand. Yeah, it's a showstopper, I guess.
I mean, it kind of it is a valid question. Another question.
What's a valid question?
The nipple thing.
I think this question is a question we don't need to touch on.
So another
For vast reasons.
a qualm that I do have with the Super Bowl. Every year at the Super Bowl, they play no less than 3 Metallica songs, and they never invite Metallica to play the halftime show. They have a way better stage presence.
I couldn't tell you what's a Metallica song.
If you heard them play them, you would know them. But the point is, they have a way better stage presence than Maroon 5. At the Grammys, they proved that they can collaborate with much wider variety of artists, and they probably would have gone way harder into that SpongeBob thing than to tease all of us and screw us over like that.
No,
I wish someone
you don't
actually
understand.
sang Sweet Victory, like whether it be
Yeah, I
Adam
wanted the whole
Levine or-
thing. The whole thing.
Dave,
Yeah.
there are 3 reasons people watch the Super Bowl. The first is for commercials, the second is for the game, and the third is to complain about the halftime show. They can't have a good act in the halftime show because people can't complain about it then.
That's true. Prince and
It's
Michael
sad that
Jackson
we're
are
talking
both
more
dead,
about the
and so we
halftime
can't
show
have a
than we
good.
did it the whole entire game.
I'm still trying to get over that CD comment from Boder. CDs?
I
I'm
know.
not even sure my car has a CD player. Do they still make them in new cars?
I know what I'm buying for Dan for every single holiday from now on.
Now that's what I call music,
Just
183.
yep, I'm just buying Dan's CDs.
But I think a lot of people do watch the Super Bowl for the halftime show. You can't sit there and say people aren't entertained to watch it. I mean, normally it's relatively good. I thought Coldplay was great when I watched it. In fact, I was watching old ones today for a minute ago just to kind of compare them.
Why?
I thought Beyonce is great in the halftime show. Coldplay is great in the halftime show.
Yeah, 2 years ago you were like, oh, Beyonce's performance, she's stupid. That was literally you. You said
Wow,
you
dude.
hated Beyonce, and you know for a fact you said that because I was sitting next to you and I said, I know exactly what you were saying.
Oh my god, that is the face of someone caught in their own lie.
No, what I'm saying is
Pants.
her performance that one year was pretty good. I'm not gonna get into my political views of Beyonce.
I'm not
But
going to get into the critical information that you spewed out about Beyonce and what statements she was making, but I know for a fact you said that their
Oh, I
performance
did.
was awful.
I did.
Can we bring back Lady
So why
Gaga?
are you saying she's great now?
I think I'm talking about a different performance from Beyonce. I'm talking about the
I'm
one
pretty sure she only had one Super Bowl performance.
she did. I'm talking about the one she did with Coldplay. I think she did
That
her
was
own.
the one I'm talking about.
She didn't have anything political in that one.
Oh yes, it did.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
Yes, she
You're right.
did.
No, I'm thinking of the other one. Yes, the one with Coldplay is when she did the. Yes, you're right. That's the one I did. The one I like is when she did on her own with Destiny Child that came out. That one's
You
good.
mean she featured Destiny Child for all of? Look at the people I used to be with, and now am bigger than.
Some people love that when people return like that. It's a big thing. Justin Timberlake last year I thought was great. I thought he had a good halftime
I
show.
think Bruno Mars was prime. Bruno Mars or Prince was probably my favorite.
Bruno
halftime
Mars is an
performance.
instant. Unfortunately, he can't be on every year, but he's an instant should be on every year because I think he's great.
And
But you can't-
you know what? They should try to find an artist that he doesn't collaborate well with. That should actually be the challenge for the NFL, to just have him perpetually on until they finally find someone that Bruno Mars can't groove with. It's not going to happen.
Oh well. Real quick, before we get off at NFL, probably for a while. Some news coming out this week of the Oakland Raiders, not knowing where they're still gonna play. I guess they had an option of Oracle Field, and they said no to that. So their choices
find
right
somewhere.
now, are to either play at Levi's Stadium with the 49ers, or back in San Francisco, or back in
Yep. AT&T Park.
AT&T Park.
Yep,
So now
or
two really bad teams could play in a stadium instead of one.
Hey!
For AT&T Park. Oh, come on.
and I guess they're still looking
The
at the
Jets and the
possibility.
Giants play in the same stadium, and they've been stinking that place up for years.
And which is a shame because it's a brand new stadium too. Or what they could,
WrestleMania goes there. It's good. It's good.
right. Or they had there's still a chance of them going to London for all their home games, which I guess the NFL wants a team there, so they want to test it for a year to see what the logistics of that
The
would be.
London Raiders.
So
Be kind of cool. Be hard for him to pull off.
Can you imagine though, Derek Carr, please come over here and sign my shirt, Mr.
actually,
Carr?
Derek Carr was in the news today. The Oakland Raiders they guaranteed his contract.
He's got 120 million down the drain.
So he got another $20 million, I think. So,
So-
what does that mean? That mean he's guaranteed now to play there for the next?
Is it 100 million or is it 120 million?
They said 20
I think it's
million. No, they said he got another
Oh, I'm
guarantee.
thinking about his contract
Yeah.
in a whole.
But
Yeah, it was 20 million guaranteed
Right.
because it was the day after. Yeah.
So what is? I mean, so that means what? He's there at least for how many years do you have left?
He has like 5 more years left.
Yeah, he's there for a long time. Hopefully he does well.
So Ruden's
Oh.
sticking his.
Speaking of Carr, there was a shot during the Super Bowl where was Jared Goff crying? The answer is yes, but
We'll have to get footage
I'm
of
surprised that didn't get gifted.
Sometimes
Everyone
real
wasn't
men
going.
gotta cry on the field for the emotions. and
But was it a cry of pain or cry because of the Super Bowl?
I have a feeling it was a little bit of both. I also think that someone walked up to me and was like, Derek, You're walking home! And they pull down his
Was
underwear.
Gladys Knight singing at the time? Because that will do that to
No,
people.
no, it was towards the end of the game when they were clearly like, Guff, get out there and stop throwing picks!
She has that voice that's very Midnight Train to Georgia, one of my favorite songs.
Are you gonna sing for us
No,
again?
I did that last week, not happening again.
I booed.
I can't give that too many shows at my
Boo.
CD. Alright, so anything else to the Super Bowl?
Thank
Boda,
God that's
Would
over.
you like to contribute any more to the video? Any more of your thoughts?
No,
I think you left everything on the
I
table.
predicted pretty well, and you guys summed up pretty well. I forgot to say anything about the halftime show, but you guys covered it, so yay!
Super enthusiastic.
Hooray!
Deep down, Boda's like, football doesn't come back until August.
I don't believe it. Somehow you guys are going to talk about it at least.
We're moving on to NBA. NBA is hot right now.
What are you doing?
Dan, why do you always
It's
do
zooming
this?
in and out.
Why are you touching
Yeah,
stuff?
I gotta change
Yeah, why
the
are you
settings on
touching
this.
stuff?
Anytime this
I feel
controller
like
comes
I'm
on,
a bungee cord,
it
like
comes into a sign on
Back
screen,
and
and I'm
forth.
getting tired of that. I don't know why we started
God
doing
damn.
that. There we go.
there you go. Now I can see Boater. Hey Mike.
So we ready for another What's Dead to Dan this week?
Sure.
We gotta have like a little what's the Dan thing that comes up on the screen.
That's your little thing right there.
With me with the bobblehead with a mean face that pops up.
We're not doing that. That's not fun.
You know, we all know I like candy, right? We all know one of the things that I like is eating candy. Well, I don't know what came upon me yesterday, but I didn't really feel like going to the newsstand to get candy, and there was a quarter on the counter. So I went over to the little candy center over here. All the little gumdrops and all the little candy things over there.
Those are older than us. Combined.
Apparently.
He's gonna go
If you
buy
can see
some.
Boda there, he's doing it.
He's
So no, I didn't even go for the gumballs. I went for, and it wasn't even about the freshness of the candy. So I put my quarter in and I turned it. Do you know how many Skittles I got?
How
2.
many? 6.
I got 3 Skittles. 3
You gotta
Skittles.
shake it up a little bit first.
Shake it up, you can't move it around. I've never seen it. That guy is robbing people
gotta
blind
use
over there
some
with a candy
muscle,
machine.
Dan.
I put a quarter in and I got
I
3
feel like you
Skittles.
didn't use it right.
And that is absurd.
You
If you
didn't
give
do
me
it
a
right.
quarter, I guarantee I get at least 25 Skittles if I go.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's the theory, Mike. Take 25 cents out of the register. Let's see it.
Go do
Go.
it. You're,
Go.
what's
Go.
test it? I want to see how much candy you get.
While he's on the way, I'm gonna pipe in really quick from chat. Flip Juice says, "Yes, Dan, cars are still sold with CD players. I know it's hard to believe." And Amp Slayer says, "Calling it now, the Daytona 500 is gonna be better than the Super Bowl this year."
We don't talk about NASCAR in here
Fact.
anymore.
Amp Slayer, fact. We absolutely
I
do
don't
talk
even
about
know-
NASCAR.
I don't
Dan
even
just
know a
scowls
single
about it.
NASCAR driver nowadays.
No one
Joey
does.
Logano. That's about it.
NASCAR used to be a premier sport. No one knows what's going on in that
Where's
sport
the
anymore.
exact one? Is there only one Skittles machine?
I think so. It's on the other side.
Uh-oh.
Quite the field trip going on over there.
Gotta commentate, man.
So Mike's trying to move it around. I think he's trying to figure out how to put the quarter in. And he's looking around and he changed his mind. He's going to the other side.
Well, because you said you got from the other side. Oh.
Oh, it is 50 cents. So I got even more robbed than I thought. It is 50 cents. I forgot about that.
So now his story is technically a farce. Because you found a quarter on the counter, and they cost more than a quarter,
I had
Dan.
one in my pocket, too.
That's why you got 3 Skittles. Because you put a singular quarter into a 50
Only
cent.
3 Skittles for 50 cents.
Yeah,
that's
that is
even
much
more.
more.
It's worse. Thank you.
We're about to see. Mike's gonna come back with a handful.
He probably is. I'm sure I got the screw job.
I'm gonna
That's
make sure
why
he just
they're
doesn't
dead
pull,
to me.
like, extra
That
Skittles
one
out of
over
his
there. I
pocket.
never go over and buy candy.
I'll
like
go.
that.
I'll
I
go
had
over.
some Skittles on me.
I'll go over and verify. Make sure.
Mike's gonna grab a bunch and throw them down the hall.
Mike just has a packet of
so-
Skittles.
Mike's going in. He put in the first quarter. He's tapping on it. I don't know what that means. He's tapping.
He's shaking it to make sure they're falling.
I think he's still
So-
trying to figure out how to put the quarter in. I think he's a little confused. So he put one quarter, 2 minds over there trying to figure it out, and it's not going well. All right, he put him in. He just cranked it. Some Skittles came out. Boder trying to grab some pieces that fell on the ground.
man has a magic touch?
How many?
Well, we're gonna count right now. We're gonna come around on camera.
What do you know
got,
what?
Mike?
You know what actually happened? Mike flashed the biceps
One,
at that
two,
thing, and it went
one,
ah,
two,
and like
three,
dropped
four,
all
five,
the
six,
candy
7,
it
8,
could.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13.
I apparently got the shaft.
Do you want some?
He went over. He did kind of shake
13
the...
Skittles for 50 cents is still kind of weak. You could literally buy like a whole pack,
Skittles?
family size.
Oh, there it is.
You know what? After years and years of getting past controllers by you, no, I don't want something that's been in your hand.
Dave just got some wicked sweaty Skittles from them.
Still Skittles. I'm making up for what I lost the other day.
Well, you still paying for them.
So, what am I adding to the list here exactly? Because you're complaining about the guy who owns this crappy arcade.
The Wilton Mall Candy Center. That's what you put down. Absurd that I only got 3 Skittles out of that.
You got
Mall,
screwed.
and I'm putting that in quotes because it doesn't exist. Candy Center.
It's gumball machine ripoffs, maybe.
So it is written. Dead to dad.
So what's on the list so far, Dave?
Kickers, plastic knives,
That was quite a debacle.
short TV series, the
Development.
NBA in its entirety, and the Wilton Mall Candy Center. So it is written.
Top down.
NBA still going on with that Anthony Davis crap. The whole NBA is just. I don't. Is there any rules for the NBA? Tyler, you know the NBA more than anyone
Is
here.
there any
Do
rules?
they even
Are there
have
any
rules?
rules?
They
No.
just, they just do what they want to do, and they can trade who
The
they want to
Lakers are
trade whenever.
practically trading 6 guys and acquiring one actual person and acquiring Solomon Hill, who has a huge contract just to release him.
You can
So,
spin it any way
I
you
mean-
want. It's still trade rigged. Just
I
like
mean, the
fantasy
Lakers are
football.
just giving up everything just for this one guy. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Can you admit that this
Yeah.
whole situation's absurd?
I mean, you think about it, just to translate, the NBA, you have to trade like 6 guys for a premier person, but in the NFL you have to trade like 2 draft picks for Antonio Brown, who's considered the best wide receiver. Like, I don't understand what the variance in the NBA versus the NFL is, where, you know, less is more.
I don't know. I really can't figure out the NBA. I leave that up to you. You're the NBA
I mean,
expert. You know, you
there
were a
was-
starting
there-
point guard
there-
for Schuylerville, so I leave that knowledge up to you.
Wow. I mean, this just in. Got my little ESPN alert. The Pelicans and Lakers haven't talked today, so another day. Trade deadline ends tomorrow at I think like 12 or something or 8. So
If I looked correctly, Tyler, I think also today Magic Johnson released a statement saying that they really weren't. They were going to cool off on it because the Pelicans were asking for the 6 players and then like 4 to 5 draft picks.
yeah.
Like
And
They're starting to get
the
ridiculous.
entire
the thing
future of
is,
the
is that
team.
Anthony Davis is gonna be a free agent after this year anyway. So
That's the
you know
scariest.
the Lakers
yeah.
could just wait, miss the playoffs, you know, have a high draft pick in the draft, and still get Anthony Davis. So. I mean, because the NBA has a draft lottery, so you never know if you're in the lottery, you may get the first pick.
The Pelicans are the Pelicans. That's why they're doing that. They should just have Sean Payton come over, run that organization for a little bit.
You don't even know what you just said.
I do know what I just said. The same owner owns the Saints and the Pelicans.
What?
The
So
same.
what does that do with anything with Sean Payton?
So Sean Payton can just hop over and go do some work for the Pelicans for a while because he's technically part of the same organization.
So because
Well,
you're
why?
a coach of football means you can coach basketball?
I would
Success
love
comes to
to
the
see
Saints.
football coach Sean Payton headset, sweatshirt, ball cap, like designer pleated pants and shoes on an NBA court with the clipboard going, all right, we got it over there, and then like running down the other side of the court. All right, we got to do this over there, and then running back to this. I would pay.
You're forgetting his
untold-
clear Oakley glasses that he wears. The frames.
See,
are
but
clear.
that fits into the
I kinda
NBA.
do like
It fits
those.
in the
They're not
NBA,
bad.
not into the NFL. Glasses, not an NFL thing.
Is what I said stupid and unreasonable? Yes, but it could happen. The logistics are there.
It
It's so
it
stupid. It's
it
beyond
could
stupid.
not happen, man.
I may have lost like 6 brain cells listening to you just now.
Oh, that's why I don't discuss NBA.
That's why it's on the damn list.
So speaking
Me and
of,
Mike are gonna have to speak on NBA then.
I'll
Whack.
be watching
I can
the
hold my
Warriors.
own in NBA conversations.
You don't even know.
you just
who,
suggested Sean
Tito
Payton
is.
should coach the
I
Pelicans.
think, first off, it was a joke. And not only was it a joke, but you could argue that it technically, despite the fact that he knows nothing about the NBA, he technically could be part of it. They're in the same building. They're owned by the same company and the same
They're not
owner.
in the same building. They're in
Their management
You're
is.
right, Dan. You're
By
right,
the
Dan.
way,
You
the
can't hold
GM
your
of the
own and hold
Pelicans.
it over there.
The GM of the First off, let's go over this for a minute.
Uh-huh.
Because, first off, the GM of the
How many
Saints.
times you gotta say first off?
The GM of the Saints.
Yes.
Is right now also the GM of the Pelicans.
Okay.
So if a GM who knows only about football can come over and do the basketball, it wouldn't be unethical or unreasonable to think.
I mean, technically, if you're looking at it from the top down, I mean, the managing players and assets is managing players and assets, whatever sport you're dealing with. Coaching, on the other hand, is completely different.
It is. I'm just saying, the more I'm sitting here thinking about it, my dumb comment wasn't really that dumb when you really started coming.
No, it's still very stupid.
Pretty,
I would call it a damn comment.
quite
Any-
the stretch, Dan.
Speaking of what
So
we're talking about the
you're calling
NBA,
yourself stupid.
while we're talking about the NBA, anyone else see LeBron James's Lakers tank and then not sit next to him on the bench when they served him his largest? That man was on the Cavs and he didn't have such a bad defeat, and he was served a 42-point loss last night.
LeBron James, he deserves it.
It's more LeBron, and it's also I was talking about this with Wes from Foot Locker. One of the guys got up to take a free throw, and they started chanting, "LeBron's gonna trade you," and so of course that kind of rattles confidence. And then another player got up, and they literally said, "Not even worth." You know that, like, in any sport, that has to hurt the most.
But it's true. I mean, I'm seriously though. When you sit down and you look at this, go back to my argument last week about it. When you sit down, if you're Lonzo Ball, the head coach isn't trading you. The owner or the GM, LeBron James is legitimately trading you. He's running the entire thing. That's just the absurdity of the situation. If I'm a player, I want nothing to do with being on LeBron James' team. Nothing but carnage and damage comes from LeBron James. If you're Luke Walton now.
Entitled chances.
If you're Luke Walton and you're the head coach of the team, and now LeBron James just got signed to your team, you don't think he thought immediately thought, well, I'm done in a year or two, because LeBron's just gonna kick me to the curb.
I do have a correction in chat. You guys were saying general manager of the Saints, also acting general manager of the Pelicans, or the other way around. Fat Boy with the chain says that is absolutely not the case. Not the same person pulling those jobs at all.
Really?
So he's calling you
Really?
out.
Fat Moore with a chain? Let's pull that
So-
up. I'm doing a real time fact check right here. We're gonna pull it up.
All right.
Challenge
So,
Fat Boy with the chain.
but the larger, God, that totally threw me off the thought that I had. But
The fact is, damage comes with LeBron James everywhere you go. And if you're a player or you're a coach, I would want nothing to. Yeah, you may have a good chance of making the playoffs with him, or maybe one going to the championship. This one loves LeBron, so I don't care about what he loves. LeBron. You love LeBron.
I just respect him.
Dan, I would
Everything you're saying is just
No.
stupid.
I would like to point out though that any team that has a all-star player, when they look on that roster and they see Lonzo Ball's on the team, and then they remember that mouthpiece LeVar Ball is going to be at every single game going, my son should be out there. My son should be making that shot. My son could make that. I could make. Nope. So Lonzo Ball's position is widely determined by how much or little his dad can STFU.
He's been pretty quiet since LeBron's got there.
He should be.
Nothing this
Yeah,
slow
he's
lately.
been focusing more on his youngest son Mello. So he's living in like Ohio or something.
Yeah, he's gotta help Melo actually get something.
The other day was like the first time we heard from LeVar Ball in like months. He said that he doesn't want his son to go. He doesn't want Lonzo to go to. Where are they saying? The Pelicans. They want him to go to the Suns, and I don't know. I think LeBron pays him just to not talk.
Stupid.
Why would he go to the Suns?
I know you're fact checking, Dan, but Dell Demps is the general manager of the Pelicans, and Mickey Loomis has been the Saints GM for 10 years.
I'll accept that for right now, but I read something different. I'll find out what I said, and I'll make a correction on my stat next week.
Is that?
I'm not admitting defeat because I read
Also,
something.
I'm pretty surprised that you thought that for some
Quite
strange
the
reason.
blunder, Dan. Quite the blunder.
No, I'll go back and read it in a little bit later.
That's just Dan holding his own, quote unquote.
I
in
will.
NBA
I'm gonna hold.
conversation.
I'm gonna stick to my statement. I'll figure out what I read, and I'll issue it a correction next week
And we'll
if
issue a knee
necessary.
band next week.
Maybe it was the team president that I read. There was someone that was part of both organizations.
Nope.
All right.
But apparently,
Dan's wrong
not the
again.
general manager. So.
So, are we good on
That boy, the chain, go take a hike. So what else? We didn't talk about Royal Rumble last week, so we skipped over that. We didn't have enough time. So any reaction to that? Okay, Mike. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
So, the women's Royal Rumble was way more exciting than the men's. The women's
I
had
actually fell asleep during the men's Royal Rumble. I did.
Yeah, the-
Wake up the next morning and watch it.
that pay-per-view was 7 hours long, including the pre-show. If I had paid for a ticket to that, I'm pretty sure they would have all had to inject me with adrenaline to keep me awake after a couple matches. Like, wow.
I thought it was ridiculously boring as well, similar to the Super Bowl. It's just but you know what? You sit here and you look at what can they do. The surprise factor is done. I really don't think. I don't think you can't have. When I say surprise, I mean surprise returns. That stuff is over with. Who can come back that hasn't been back in the last year or two?
CM Punk.
Yeah, that's the last one they have.
It'll be the surprise to literally end all surprises. You will break the internet straight in half.
But when that happens, they have nothing left. Nothing left. I mean, Conor McGregor down the road as a debut, but there's no one that can ever. I don't know.
You know who would
How
make
he
a
was
really,
WrestleMania.
you know who would make a really good WWE superstar and should not be doing the thing he's currently doing? My favorite Neanderthal of all, Gronk. Gronk should fall down in a WWE
But they
ring
said
instead of
he
on the
can't-
field
he
or
said
a
he
dance floor.
won't
You
because
might. You're dying.
his body's already worn out. They
So
don't
he,
think
so he stands on the sidelines as a tag team specialist, stands
had
on the
it.
apron, takes the hot tag, walks in, makes a singular punch, lays down very carefully because of his ankles to do the pin, and then stands up and goes, "Gronk win match," and walks away, and
think-
everyone
You
cheers.
can team up with Mojo Rawley.
I think
That's what we
Gronk.
do
I
in
think
history.
Gronk goes to do movies.
Dancing with the Stars?
I think he's gonna go down the route of movies. I just don't think. I think there's a strong possibility he goes to WWE, but I just don't think I don't think WWE wants to take the chance with his health and the way his body is that they want to take that risk.
Did you see, by the way, who WWE hired to be on the pre-show for the next couple shows? The only man who could punt next to Adam Vinatieri, Pat
Oh, yeah.
McAfee.
That I didn't know.
That man,
Great. I listened
It was
to
funny.
this podcast.
he is hilarious. He is also very dangerous to put in front of a live microphone. So kudos to WWE for giving that man both live and putting him in front of people.
He was announcing the game between the Packers and the Lions like week 16.
Yep.
And that was the game that Matt Prater threw a touchdown to one of the receivers, and he was flipping out because he does anything special teams. Hashtag for the brand.
That's pretty awesome.
But to see that WWE put Becky Lynch as the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble and had Seth Rollins win the men's, I'm interested to see WrestleMania. I want, like, those are two, regardless of the fact that the men's Rumble didn't have any surprise entrants, they really didn't have any, like, classic returns of people you know aren't going to win, but to have Seth Rollins win, now I want to know. Is he going to be able to beat Brock Lesnar? I mean, he's not, but it'll be interesting to
I was
see.
quite disappointed. I could have thought with certainty that Finn Balor was going to win, but he didn't.
Did you see the match, by the way? Did you?
Let me put it to, let me put it to you this
All
way,
right.
Dave. Let me put it to you this way. The question out of Mike's mouth was who won WrestleMania. That's what the question behind the counter
Not
was.
yet.
And-
Not
and-
yet,
and
Mike.
there was
Soon, though.
There was
Soon
a
we
pause
shall
for
know.
a minute, and I turned to him and I said, "What?" And he goes, "Who won WrestleMania?" I go, "Do you mean Royal Rumble?" And we got a good laugh out of that for about 5 minutes. Then I had to break it down to him exactly what he was talking about and how WrestleMania is
So-
the winner of the Royal Rumble goes to WrestleMania.
Mike, you know how when Dan says something like, the coach of the Saints should play as coach in the NFL? You know how we just attacked him and he got no words in edgewise? That's exactly what happened in the Brock Lesnar Finn Balor match, where Finn Balor like started to say something like a little brother going like, "I'm gonna tell mom," and the big brother came right over and just.
So are you
And
saying
it
I'm
was
a
over.
bully, Dave?
I'm saying that you are both a bully and you are also the
I don't know,
easiest
boys.
target
Is
to
he telling
bully.
me I'm a bully?
If the shoe fits and Mike can pull the laces off of it.
I don't know. I guess I'm a bully. Big old Dan's a bully. Bully Dan.
Well,
I think Dan plays the victim card a little too much still.
I don't know what that means.
Why are you guys bringing it up on me?
I'm not. I hold my own when that happens.
Every week.
Dan, holding your own is not yelling first of all. I'm sorry. Even I know that.
I hold my own.
I have a lot of hair still.
Are we talking about that, or what are we
There
talking
it is.
about?
The ball jump.
So to bring it back to the original point, Finn Balor, not only did he not win against Brock Lesnar, there was an audible and then someone probably in the back of the arena went, "What the fuck?" Like, people firmly believed that Finn was going to get something and got nothing at all.
So it's still Brock.
It
It's
is.
still Bork Lesnar, hungry for pork chops in farmland.
Did you two watch Raw or SmackDown?
Yeah. I really don't.
You
I
like?
didn't watch that show. I mean, I have a big problem with WWE nowadays. It's just it doesn't feel authentic anymore. Like I feel like these people don't get into their characters anymore, and like they just you can tell that they're reading the script and they're not passionate about what they're doing. I mean, some of them, like what Daniel Bryan is doing right now, is awesome. He's being Daniel Bryan, like who he actually is as a person almost. And I feel Ronda Rousey also. You guys might disagree, but I think she's kind of embracing that character as the baddest woman alive in WWE, and you can tell on the mic. Whereas some people, it seems like they're forcing it. They're trying to remember what their script says, and it's just not authentic. So it's kind of hard to watch at times.
I think I'll say you're 50%. I agree 50% with what you're saying. In that I think a lot of the wrestlers do try. I think a lot of them are just so bad at acting that it's just awful. But the other 50% that I blame it on is the audience. The audience is just so rude and just so I mean, there's no excitement, and maybe that's because they truly are bored. But I just don't feel like the audience gives any of these wrestlers any time to. I think they just shit on them. They don't. There's no reaction. When you're a wrestler that comes out to no reaction, like what do you do? Like I mean, like
I
what?
think the audience is even worse in the fact of with what they chant. I think sometimes like they just chant stuff that's just super corny and like doesn't need to be chanted, and they just want to be heard and say that they were there and on TV, and they just ruin the show for someone who's watching it on TV.
So should we go to a pay-per-view and start the chant of "Validate me" and just see if that takes off? Like,
Sure would. There's probably a bunch of idiots that would do that.
I mean, when I went to Raw with Dan, there were so many people chanting so much stupid stuff.
Yeah,
It was
they're all
hilarious.
stupid chants. I think that's the goal, to try to get as many stupid chants as possible. And I think that's how.
The worst chant by far is like "You deserve it." That's the worst chant ever. I can't stand that chant. Or like "This is awesome" chant. I just want to turn off my TV once I hear that, or at least mute it.
I agree. I think the chants are. I think that's what ruin. I think that's what gets WWE mad, and that's when they start. They start acting the way they. I just said at the end of the day, I think if they are truly, you can't force reaction. So if they really are bored, then it's more of a who are you blaming who. I mean, WWE needs to give these people something to cheer about, but at the same time, the audience just doesn't, bless you, these audiences don't do anything that they just don't. They're just. I watched it last night. Today I watched the Becky Lynch segment for both Raw and SmackDown, and watching the crowd on Raw, they're just all like there's just no excitement.
A lot of it that could go into that is how long the show is. 3 hours is super freaking long.
Well, they make a lot of money off that. They're never gonna change it. I agree with you. It should be 2 hours.
With that much content for 3 hours, and after an hour and a half, you pretty much lost. Like any movies I watch that are over an hour and a half most of the time, unless it's Avengers, I get bored, and I can't. I lose concentration. 3 hours is a long time to keep concentration.
All WWE really needs to do at those live events is every 45 minutes have nothing going on in the ring and play whatever they're playing on the TV through the arena so that people can get up, can at least move around, can go to the bathroom, can get snacks into that without missing something. But because they have such over-burgeoning roster of people, they just stick match after match after match after match, and it's mind-numbing. It is. Like, that's part of it.
I imagine especially in person. It's crowded, you're sitting there, you haven't had a whiz in, 2.5 hours.
Or then so for example,
at least
like
at home you can, get up, run to the fridge and grab something.
They market it too so much vast for audiences that when they open the show with a Roman Reigns segment, you're getting the young kids, the face fans, this and that and the other, but then you don't show Roman Reigns for another 2.5 hours. So that kid that went there just to see Roman Reigns has no engagement with anything they're watching. Like,
it's like, where's mine?
I think.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays they don't graph the characters in the show throughout the whole entire show. So you see them once and they're gone. So if you saw them for five seconds, that's as much time as they had. Like They don't bring a storyline throughout the whole entire show like they used to. Like, Hulk Hogan's coming out back in the day for WCW. He would come out. He'd be the first one. Then they would do something with him in the back, and then they would do something with him at the end of the show, and it would kind of tie everything together.
I agree. They gotta start changing something. It's starting to get a little repetitive, boring, and like I said, they don't have the surprise factor anymore because there's too many. Everyone's been brought back, so you really can't. I mean, Jeff Jarrett's back, so there goes that. You can't do anything with him. So there's not much to do there. All right, moving on real quick. If you're watching us, you can watch us live on Facebook Live at Insane Games NY. Also on Twitch at Insane Video Games. Full episodes go on tomorrow on YouTube. You can follow us there and watch them live, or not live. You can watch them completely in their entirety at Behind the Counter on YouTube. You can also follow us on Twitter at pod_BTC and Instagram at Behind the Counter Pod. We kind of had a little bit of a situation that occurred earlier this week. And Mike and I normally don't go head-to-head too often, but it was a situation where we've been referencing it as the straw incident that occurred earlier today. And, I get a soda from Annie Ann's every morning, and I have about 5 of them throughout the day. And Dave gets his and Mark's his, and there's normally never any issue between Dave and I. And Mike now throw Mike into the mix with his cups. And there's 3 cups behind the counter at all times. Mine has a spot. Okay? Mine has a spot behind one of the pop figures that my cup always goes. That's the Dan spot.
Well,
if there's ever a cup
there, it wasn't there.
But the fact is, that is the Dan spot. So when there is a cup there, it's mine. Okay?
That's true.
And actually, to give Dave credit, when I walk in, and let's say Dave's working and I walk in, he almost immediately moves his cup out of that spot and puts it because he knows my cup is going there. So it's like, but I think this is a situation where I was on my phone, I put my cup down on the counter, and this one comes walking over and takes a sip out of my drink, okay, and got appalled when I told him to go give me a replacement straw so I could throw the straw out and put a new one in. And this one got mad about it. You legitimately got mad about it.
All right, first of
You
all,
got
I
mad.
would have been mad too if I had to drink Diet Coke.
from my side of the story, I had my drink and it was pretty near, and I accidentally took one. You didn't see me do it. I could have just said, like, oops. But I was like, Dan, I accidentally took a sip of your drink. And he got legitimately butthurt, and he commanded me to get a straw, almost in a demeaning manner, like I was a boy or something.
Okay, look, just because you fess up to doing something wrong doesn't mean that you don't then need to make reparations.
All right, me and Dan have been working together for 8 or 9 years. I think it's a little absurd that he can't have a sip off the same drink.
No, I want to replace it. I don't. When your lips hit that straw, I want nothing to do with it. I want my own straw back.
We've been,
Okay,
hanging,
so you're not the thing, Mike.
we've been hanging out. We hung out outside of the job multiple times.
I do not
I
think
consider
it's
us
appalling
good
that I
friends.
want a new straw.
And then he
And I
treated
think-
me like a scumbag.
And I think I made my
I'll
intention
not
very well
soon
clear.
forget it. I'll not soon forget
And then I
it.
made my intention very well clear when you told me I said, go
You
get
know
a new
what?
straw.
His
Mike-
eyes glazed
Mike-
over like he was gonna cry. He was so upset.
Mike, I have to tell you, for as much as Dan has an absolute disdain for being alone in the store with me, we have shared soda straws, and I have never had to go get a new one.
Yeah, exactly.
I made you go get a new one.
You absolutely have
No.
not.
Well, no, I don't think you told me that many times, but I've actually, no, I have gone and gotten you a new straw and I took a sip out of yours.
He has taken a sip of mine and he did not.
Yes, I
He
did.
took a sip of lemonade and he was like, and then he just puts it down. I was
Or
like, oh, okay.
we had a really good Dumb and Dumber segment where Dan went and thank you for that, by the way, went into McDonald's, got me a Coke. It turned out to be a Diet Coke.
This is not at all true. Whatever way
And
this is
so-
going down.
And so essentially what happened was I said, "Oh, this is Diet," and then Dan goes, "Give me it." Yep, it's Diet, and then just continued to have it.
You said
afterwards.
you didn't want it, so you gave it to me.
Yeah, because I don't drink aspartame.
No. You threw out the accusation that I purposely got a Diet Pepsi instead of a Pepsi. That wasn't...
Now,
first off,
I wasn't going to bring that up, but since you want to bring it up,
I'm bringing it up
it's
because you
giving
made that
credence
accusation
to
when it
my
occurred.
theory that Dan thought, I'll kill two birds with one stone. I'll get me a soda, and I'll make Dave think that I got him a soda.
If I want
And I'll
another
get to
soda,
blame it
I
on
just
those
pay
stupid
$1.07
people
and
at the
get another Diet
drive-thru.
Coke. It's the best deal around. The fact of the matter is, they screwed up the order, which is why McDonald's Eggs at 15 is on my most hate list because they never get any of the orders right. It's not on the Dead to Dan
it
list.
is not on the Dead to Dan
McDonald's will
list.
never be dead to
And
Dan.
so,
Mike knows. Mike knows.
Special preview of what's coming up.
Mike is the only one here that knows there's another list, and he knows it. And it's the Dan
I know
25.
there's another list too.
There's another the 25 things that Dan hates.
The dirty list.
I'm aware of that list because I'm pretty sure I have been on and off of
Not
that
on
list.
the list. Don't get dramatic. Okay, the fact of the matter is, McDonald's Eggs at 15, I believe it's hit the top 5 a few times, and they never get the order right. Okay, and that right there is, it was a simple order with one drink, and they got the drink wrong.
Why do I picture Dan at 65 miles an hour going, like just throwing the soda at an 18-wheeler right before exit 16?
I'm going down the road that they got the order wrong. There's a possibility I maybe said a Diet Coke because I order that every morning. I don't think that's what I did. I'm pretty sure I ordered a
It all
Pepsi.
comes out.
It's soft. He's softening his stance on the story.
But the fact of the matter
You're
is,
all
we're going
hearing it.
back to the fact that we're going back to the fact that Mike put his greasy lips on my straw, and I do not think that it's unnecessary, and I don't think it's rude or appalling that I demanded a replacement straw.
It wasn't so much
It's
what you
right.
wanted, it's how you did it.
If I did that to you, I'm pretty sure
You
I
should
would
be
go
like,
get a new
Can you
replacement
hook me
straw
up with
for
the
you.
straw, bro? I'd be like, yeah, no problem. You said, give me a straw.
Can you word exactly what I said? Because I don't think I said you can go get me a new straw.
No, you said, give me a straw. Give me a straw.
I think I said, "Is you gonna go get me a straw?"
First, I looked at you to see if you were talking to me that way.
And then you realized, no, I think you turned to see if I was serious about it, and I went, like, yeah, I want another straw.
Wicked out of line.
And so while that's going on, you have to know there was a customer probably standing at the counter who just slowly slinked away without purchasing whatever it was they were going to buy.
Mike and I had to stare down for about 10 seconds of like, did you really want me to get a new straw? And I was like, I want a new straw.
Did everyone forget the true ender of all arguments in this store? You whip out the snaps and someone goes and gets it. I mean, I wasn't there when someone snaps
Are you
to go
talking
have
about
to get it.
the Tower of Power?
I am talking about the Tower of Power. We need to have an example of that made to show on the program in the future. Because I'm pretty sure I got at least another point.
I don't
Pretty
respect
sure.
that.
You don't respect
I
the
don't
Tower of
respect
Power?
any Tower of Power.
Johnny was in here yesterday whipping out the snaps and his ranking in the Tower of Power.
I'd be like, nope. And you can tell him that too.
We'll bring in the Tower of Power when that comes into an example in the future. But this is one of the more absurd things we do around here.
It's one of the benefits of working for a small business where you can, in fact, have a pissing contest and then have a chart to determine who wins said pissing contest. And then if there are multiple parties in the pissing contest, whose puddle is bigger.
So, one more absurd situation before we close out here tonight is that Dave and I were working Sunday. And one of the new things that we have here is our new shelf that Tyler is currently sitting on. And one of the nice things that come in, and it's one of those things where you can't have nice things in the store. Like our Master Chief, who has a broken arm now, you can't have nice stuff in the store. And we brought in our WWE belts. And Dave's been in the back, and I brought mine in. That belt on the second shelf there is signed by Ric Flair. Okay, that belt is worth quite a bit. Woo! And the belt up on the top is signed by Wale, but Tyler got that one, so I'll give him credit for it, but it's not a wrestler. But the fact of the matter is, this guy comes in, and Dave and I were here watching. He comes out from Hot Topic. They didn't see the belts. Like, they weren't, over here looking at them for a long time, then they came in. They just come around the corner out of the blue, and this guy walks in, pushing a wheelchair, comes in, and Dave and I are both watching him.
He was not in the wheelchair.
He wasn't. He was pushing the wheelchair. So he comes around, brings the person in the wheelchair over, stops, leaving a trail of dirt from the wheelchair after I just vacuumed. And then he proceeds to come over here, and I go, sir, you can't. And he doesn't care that I'm saying it. And Dave, am I wrong? Doesn't care that I'm saying you can't. Walks over, picks up the top belt off the shelf, okay, undoes the snaps, and he's like, enjoy that he has it on his shoulder. I'm going, sir, you can't touch the belt. I've told you now 6 times. And he's sitting there going, wow, this is great. This is such a nice belt. I'm like, and then when I kind of said, when I made it clear to him, sir, you can't touch the belt. Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. What?
And then I pulled out a ref jersey, and I rang the bell. Dan hopped over the counter, and he put his finishing maneuver on him.
It was just absurd. Not to mention how many people come in asking how much the belts are, and we should be selling WWE belts in here because everyone's apparently interested in it.
Nope, because you know very well that if we charged any bit what those belts are actually retailing for, people would immediately about face and leave.
No, it's one of those, oh, well, this is cool. It's one of those, wow, this is cool. And then they see $250. Okay, see you later. I'm out of here. But
Dan neglected to mention the most horrifying part of that particular encounter. Behind the gentleman who picked up the belt was a shopping cart where there was a cat. I don't think you saw the cat, but I saw the cat in the shopping cart, and that's why I was most freaked out. A tarp, 3 days worth of fast food, dirt and all. An iPod with headphones just sitting around, and a bunch of other stuff, and you could follow where this trio went in the store.
There was a cat in there?
Yes, there was.
That's scary.
Yes, it was. And they stayed in the mall for exactly 3 hours after they were in the store, and you left me alone with the people, with the cat, in the shopping cart, in the mall.
So you weren't alone.
I was absolutely alone with the people with the shopping cart and the cat! I was not safe!
Oh, wow. The whole situation was just absurd, and I didn't know there was a cat in there, and it makes it even more absurd. Just some of the weird things that occur around here. But we gotta finish up, because we got Dave coming up next. So real quick, make sure you follow us, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You can watch us live like you are right now on Twitch at Insane Video Games, or you can watch us live on Facebook Live at Insane Games. And right tomorrow morning, this episode will go onto YouTube. You can watch a full episode and all of our episodes on YouTube at Behind the Counter. Make sure you keep track of us during the week for updates on Facebook. And shout out to Joe and Amy, Geek for All. And also shout out to the Saratoga Comic-Con. Next show is coming up end of April. Well, I'm sure we'll have Sam Chase back on and go over that as we get there. Anything else before we close up?
What's going on over there?
There's like a fire alarm going on over there or something.
No.
That's the sound of Buttercup dragging a food dish across the floor, going, "Tyler, that's enough."
Pretty much, yeah.
Anything else before we close out? Boater, any more comments to close out the show?
No more comments.
Alright, do the call sign. I did it last time. It's your turn.
You have to start it.
I did it last time.